The global economy is coming back from the depth of the crisis, but this calamity is far from over. All countries are now facing what I would call the long ascent, a difficult climb that will be long, uneven, and uncertain, and prone to setbacks. As we embark on this ascent, we are all joined by a single rope, and we are only as strong as the weakest climbers. They will need help on the way up. The path ahead is clouded with extraordinary uncertainty. Risks remain high, including from rising bankruptcies and sketched valuations in financial markets, and many countries have become more vulnerable. Their debt levels have increased because of their fiscal response to the crisis and the heavy output and revenue losses. There is now also risk of severe economic scarring from job losses, bankruptcies, and the disruption of education. For almost all countries, this will be a setback to the improvement of living standards. So what is the path forward? We see 4 immediate priorities. First, defend people's health. Spending on treatment, testing, and contact tracing is an imperative. So too is a strong international cooperation to coordinate vaccine manufacturing and distributions once we have vaccines, especially in the poorest countries. Only by defeating the virus everywhere can we secure a full economic recovery anywhere. Second, avoid premature withdrawal of policy support. Where the pandemic persists, it is critical to maintain lifelines across the economy to firms and to workers, such as tax deferrals, credit guarantees, cash transfers, wage subsidies. Equally important is continued monetary accommodation and liquidity measures to ensure the flow of credit, especially to small and medium-sized firms, supporting jobs and supporting financial stability. Cut the lifelines too soon, and the long ascent becomes a precipitous fall. Third, flexible and forward-leaning fiscal policy will be critical for the recovery to take hold. This crisis has triggered profound structural transformation, and governments must play their role in reallocating capital and labor to support the transition. This will require both stimuli for job creation, especially in green investments, and cushioning the impact on workers, from retraining and reskilling to expanding the scope and duration of unemployment insurance. Safeguarding social spending will be critical for a just transition to new jobs. Fourth, deal with the debt, especially in low-income countries. They entered this crisis with already high debt levels, and this burden has only become heavier. If they are to fight the crisis and maintain vital policy support, if they are to prevent the reversal of development gains made over decades, they will need more help, and they will need it fast. This means access to more grants, concessional credit, and debt relief, combined with better debt management and debt transparency. In some cases, global coordination to restructure sovereign debt will be necessary, with full participation of public and private creditors. In all these areas, our member countries can count on the IMF. We will help them all the way up the mountain. We will strive to be their Sherpa. We will help show the way with sound policy advice. We will provide the training for the climb some may need. And above all, we will be there, with financial support, and we will help ease the debt burden for those who otherwise may not make it. Again, this will be a difficult climb. It requires new paths up the mountain. That is why we need fundamental reforms to build a more resilient economy, one that is greener, smarter, more inclusive, more dynamic. All this can be done. We know it from the previous generation that had the courage and the resolve to climb the mountains they faced. Joined by a single rope, we can overcome the crisis and achieve a more prosperous and more resilient world for all. Let's do it.